Let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself for a second. How much of yourself did you give to that person before you noticed you were running out? Not the easy parts, not the polite, presentable, social media friendly parts. I'm talking about the deep cuts, the hours you'll never get back, the sleep you traded for their crisis. The version of you that walked into the relationship full and walked out of it hollow. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You can feel it right now in the back of your throat. That tight, dry, exhausted feeling that doesn't have a word in any language because nobody wants to admit it exists. The feeling of having loved somebody empty. That's where you are, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. You loved them more than they deserved, and it almost destroyed you. And the cruel part, the part that makes you want to scream into a pillow at 3 a.m. is that you knew, some part of you knew. From pretty early on, if you're being honest, you knew the math wasn't adding up. You were putting in 7 days a week and they were giving you maybe 2. You were losing sleep over them and they were sleeping just fine. You were thinking about them constantly and they barely thought about you when you weren't in the room. The signs were there, kid. They were always there. You just decided to love through them. And here's what nobody tells you about loving like that. It's not a flaw, it's a capacity. Most people can't love that hard. They don't have the depth. They don't have the stomach for it.
Lay your palms flat on that tabletop. If you lift those palms off that turtle shell tabletop, Mr. Pooch's gonna let both barrels that sawed off.
They get to a certain point and they pull back. They protect themselves. They keep one foot out the door because the world taught them. That's the smart move. But you don't have that mechanism. You go all the way in. You give somebody the actual keys, not the spare set. And when you love somebody, they don't just have your attention, they have your whole architecture. Your routines, your dreams, your nervous system, your future. That's terrifying for most people to receive, and they handle it badly, and the ones who handle it worst are the ones who never deserved it in the first place. Because here's what they did with what you gave them. They got comfortable, real comfortable. The kind of comfortable where they stopped trying. Why would they? You'd already proven you weren't going anywhere. So they could be lazy, they could be late, they could forget the things that mattered to you. They could put in the minimum and still get the maximum from you. And every time you noticed and brought it up, soft, the way you do everything, they'd smooth it over with a half-hearted apology and the pattern would continue. Because the pattern worked for them. The pattern only worked for them. And you carried it. You carried both of you. You did the emotional labor of 2 people in one body, and you smiled while you were doing it because that's what love looks like when you grew up thinking love means absorbing. Now look at you. You're tired in a way that sleep doesn't fix. You're hollow in a way that food doesn't touch. You're walking around in a body that gave too much for too long, and the bill is due, and the person you handed it all to isn't anywhere to be found. They cashed the check and left town.
And why did you look for my fucking daughter? Rather than fucking don't follow me. Hey, listen.
And you're standing here trying to figure out how you got so empty when you started so full. I'll tell you how. You loved them past the point where love was supposed to stop. See, love is supposed to have a self-preservation reflex built in. When you're pouring into a vessel that's leaking, something in you should say, hey, stop, this isn't working. Save what's left. And that reflex exists in most people. But somewhere along the way, yours got disabled. Maybe by an early experience. Maybe by a parent who needed you to be the strong one. Maybe by 1,000 small moments where you learned that the price of being loved was being useful first. However it got there, the brake didn't kick in. You kept pouring. Long after the vessel was clearly broken. Long after a healthy person would have stopped and walked away, and the love you kept giving stopped being love and started being a slow form of suicide. Don't flinch from that word. Sit with it, because you almost did. Not in the dramatic way, in the quiet, daily way. You almost gave them all of you. There was almost nothing left.
I've abandoned my child! I've abandoned my child! I've abandoned my boy!
That's not a love story, kid. That's a near-death experience. And you don't get to call it that out loud because it doesn't sound right. Nobody died. There was no diagnosis, no ambulance, so you minimize it. You tell yourself it was just a hard breakup, just a tough relationship, just a chapter. But check your body. Check what it remembers. The way you flinch when your phone buzzes at certain hours. The way you brace when somebody says, "We need to talk." The way you still don't sleep right months later. That's not just heartbreak. That's a nervous system that learned to live under siege and forgot how to stand down. That's the body keeping the score of a war nobody else acknowledged was happening. And the part that nobody in your life will probably ever say out loud because it sounds too harsh is this. They watched it happen. They watched you disappear into them. They saw the weight loss, the late nights, the way you stopped seeing your friends, the way your laugh changed, the way you started apologizing for taking up space in your own life. And they didn't intervene. They didn't say, "Hey, slow down, you're giving too much, save something for yourself." They took and took and took. Because the version of you that was disappearing was working out really well for them. A you that was completely absorbed in keeping them comfortable. A you that had no energy left to ask hard questions. A you that was easier to control because you were too exhausted to push back. They didn't almost destroy you accidentally. They almost destroyed you efficiently. But here's the part where the story changes. Because you're still here. You're still breathing. Cracked, sure. Smaller than you used to be in some places, bigger in others. But here, in the fact that you survived loving somebody who took everything is the most important data point of your entire life.
So you do know the difference? Or are you gonna be on my fucking time? I'm gonna be on your time.
Because what it tells you is that you have a load capacity nobody, including you, fully understood. You absorbed something that should have leveled you, and it didn't level you, it bent you. There's a difference. Bent things can be straightened, broken things take longer. You're bent. Now, here's what I need you to hear. The love wasn't the problem. I want to be really clear about this. Because I know some part of you is sitting there thinking, maybe I shouldn't love that hard anymore. Maybe I should keep more back. Maybe the answer is to become smaller. No. That's the wrong lesson. That's the lesson the takers would love for you to learn, because a smaller, more guarded you is easier for them to never be challenged by. The love is not the problem. The love is your superpower. The problem was the address you kept sending it to. You weren't loving the wrong way. You were loving the wrong person. Same fire, same intensity, same all-in, no half measures, terrifying to most people kind of love, pointed at someone who actually has the structure to hold it, pointed at work that needs that kind of devotion, pointed at your own self for the first time in your life, the self that's been begging for a fraction of the attention you gave them. That love doesn't need to be reduced, it needs to be redirected.
Nearly got fucking everything!
And the second they realize, and they will realize eventually, what they had access to and what they squandered, they're going to come back. Not because they grew, because the comfort left when you did. And they'll show up with that look, the soft one, the I miss you look, the I see things differently now look, and you're going to feel it. Of course you're going to feel it, because that love isn't dead. It just changed addresses. But you're not the post office anymore. You don't deliver to that name. You love them more than they deserved. That's the truest sentence anyone said about your situation, and you can wear it without shame, because what it actually means is that you have more capacity than they had character. They underestimated what they were holding. That's their tragedy. Yours was just believing for a while that what they gave you back was the same currency you were spending. It wasn't. You know that now.